Joe, you're fired. Get out. Get out, Joe. You're fired.
Folks, let me close with this. I know I'm not a young man. State the obvious. Well, I know.
Honey, Joe, I think you missed this part. Take a look.
I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh my God!
That's a terrible
that is
thing
just
to say.
a that he was 3 pounds.
Donnie, I love you. I'm telling
I love
you.
you too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages.
The question is, why not show it, right? There's something on his birth certificate he doesn't want to show.
It's not because he's black.
Let him show. Has nothing to do with it.
Because I think when any white president asks to be shown the birth certificate, when you become a president of the United States of America, you know that he's American. I'm sorry, that's BS.
The View, ladies and gentlemen. The View, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump and The View. It is an amazing turnaround how they have all decided to stab Donald Trump in the back. Unbelievable.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi told the New York Times she thought there'd be an open primary to replace Biden, and had he stepped aside sooner, there may have been other candidates.
About Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, child.
She must have been absent the day in kindergarten where they did the lesson. If you got nothing good to say, don't say anything at all.
You live in London. You do sometimes come to the US and you think, what on earth is going on here? This place has culturally got off the reservation on the left.
The blame game continues on the left as Democrats look for answers to their crushing election laws.
Well, according to mainstream media, black people don't like women in power. Kamala Harris is black, but black people don't support her. And it's not about policy.
I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth.
Bombshell criminal complaint revealing the depths of the Iranian regime went to in an attempt to assassinate President-elect Trump and an Iranian-American dissident on U.S. soil.
Oh, well, thank God, guys. Thank God Donald Trump survived all of the assassination attempts over the past year. It has just been unreal. I'm honestly really surprised that they allowed him to live to actually win the presidential election, guys.
An unsealed court filing charges 3 men in connection to the failed murder-for-hire plots. And according to that document, one of the suspects, who is still at large, told the feds he was instructed by an official in Iran's military to come up with a plan to take out Trump.
Threats from Iran and other U.S. adversaries putting a focus on our porous border. President-elect Trump taking his first big step to make America safer by naming former ICE Director Tom Homan as his administration's border czar.
Wow, guys, they are shutting down the borders. Did you guys see what was going on in New York City? Illegal migrants are actually hitting the streets and they're protesting in New York City just hours after New York City Mayor Eric Adams decided to pull the funding that was providing illegal migrants with millions and millions of dollars of taxpayer money just after Donald Trump won the presidency. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. We got a lot to talk about today.
Iranian plot to kill Trump. David?
Well, John and Jackie, it really is all hands on deck between the FBI, CIA, and other intelligence agencies to watch Iran and the growing threats towards the president-elect. The threat stream is there daily and continues to intensify, Fox News is told. The FBI right now looking for a 51-year-old named Farhad Shakiri. They believe he's in Iran. Getting him here is not going to be easy if they get him here at all. According to this criminal complaint unsealed on Friday, Shakiri worked with Iran's Revolutionary Military Guard on an active plan to kill the president-elect. Shakiri demanded large financial sums in return. As stated in the criminal complaint, Shakiri indicated to an IRGC official that this would cost a huge amount of money. In response, the official said that we have already spent a lot of money, so money's not an issue. Now, Trump, as we've been reporting for months, has been on the radar of Iran's radical government since he ordered the killing of Iranian National Guard's leader Qasem Soleimani in January 2020. Officials see these plots, and there have been several, as a chance for revenge. Law enforcement sources also tell Fox Iranian-American dissident Masih Alinejad was also a target of this foiled or interrupted plot. The DOJ says Shakiri worked with two men based in New York City to surveil and murder Miss Alinejad.
Oh my God, this is horrible. I don't even understand how Melania Trump deals with this. Like, her husband is constantly under threat, under attack. Barron Trump, I mean, did you guys see how tall Barron Trump is? This guy is towering. How tall? Because how tall is Donald Trump? Isn't Donald Trump like 6'3"-ish? 6 foot. And Barron Trump is towering over Donald Trump. He's got to be a good 6'8", 6'9". Anyway, but this is crazy. I honestly thought that the presidency, that Donald Trump winning the presidency would literally kind of like put a cooling on the rhetoric and all of these assassination attempts, but it doesn't seem like that's the case, unfortunately. And did you guys hear the View host Anna Navarro just completely lose it when Donald Trump picked who he selected as the border czar? So President Donald Trump basically recently appointed Tom Homan as the border czar, and this literally lit the buns of the View hosts on fire, but particularly the View co-host Anna Navarro. She shared her concerns about Donald Trump's renewed commitment regarding enforcing stricter immigration policies. Now, Homan previously was the acting director of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE, back in the day. And he's pretty much known for being very firm on his border security and immigration enforcement policies. Well, get this, guys. A very vocal critic to Donald Trump, Anna Navarro didn't hold back at all. In fact, she said, look, Donald Trump won the electoral vote. He's got the House. He's got the Senate, all intents and purposes, right? And the Supreme Court. She said that a lot of people thought that when he talked about mass deportations, he wasn't really being serious. I don't know how many times that he has had to say it for people to realize that he was being serious. Well, anyway, I want you guys to hear directly from Anna Navarro here. Check this out.
Donald Trump Jr. here with an urgent message about America's irreversible path towards
Look, Donald Trump won the electoral vote. He won. He's going to win the House. He won the Senate. For all effects and purposes, he's got the Supreme Court. They've given him immunity. This is what the country voted for. This is, a lot of people thought that when he talked about mass deportations, he wasn't being serious. I don't know how many times he had to say it for people to realize he was being serious. Well, if you thought he wasn't being serious, the appointment of Tom Homan today as border czar, and he will be in charge of a mass deportation program, the largest the country has ever seen, they say. And now Stephen Miller, as deputy chief of staff, should let you know that he was absolutely serious. And when you talk about mass deportations, people think, oh, it's just going to be the criminals. There's not enough criminals, aliens in the federal prison system for it to be mass deportations. What it means is...
Well, I got to ask a question, though. Okay, so wouldn't it be the criminals, though? Because if you're here in the country illegally, doesn't that make you a criminal? Like, imagine someone is in your house. You didn't, someone's in your house and you didn't let them in. So they've entered your home. They've breached the border of your home and they're now in your house. Even though they didn't steal anything, they didn't harm anyone, does that make them a criminal? I'm just wondering, because it almost seems like what Anna Navarro is trying to say here is that these are not necessarily criminals who are here in the United States illegally. In other words, she's saying that mass deportations, if you only looked at the criminals who are locked up in the prison systems right now, who are here illegally, that wouldn't be enough head count, so to speak, to qualify for mass deportation. So it seems that she's now looking at people who are not necessarily in the jail systems, and she's now looking at those particular people who could potentially be deported, and she's not considering those people to be criminals. So, I mean, if you're here illegally, but you haven't committed a crime, are you now not a criminal, even though you're not here legally? Because if you're not here legally, wouldn't that make it so that you're here illegally? Does that make sense, guys? I'm just wondering, because I'm just thinking, I use this example here where if someone was in your house that you didn't let in. So in other words, they broke into your house. Someone breaks into your house. They don't steal anything. They don't eat any of your food. They might lay in your bed. They don't harm anyone, but you come home from work and you find them in your house. And you're like, what the flip are you doing in my house, right? So I'm just thinking to myself, wouldn't that be a criminal? And if you say that that would be a criminal, how would you handle that? How would you handle somebody breaking into your house and just chilling in your house, right? Like, I would love to know how you guys would handle that, because I know how I would handle that personally. Now, the other thing is so if that applies, with that scenario, with that example being like, okay, they would be a criminal because they broke into your house, how is it any different than breaking into the country and just being here illegally? To me, it's an apples to apples comparison. How could you even begin to try to argue that? Please let me know, guys.
Mass deportations, people think, oh, it's just going to be the criminals. There's not enough criminals, aliens in the federal prison system for it to be mass deportations. What it means is grandmothers. What it means is brothers and aunts. Yep. What it means is abuelos y abuelas. It means dreamers. It means your family members. It means your colleagues. It means your friends. It means people who are part of the society. And look, America, you know, those of you who voted for Trump, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You screwed around and you're about to find out.
Wow. Screwed around and about to find out. I don't know, guys. Please let me know what you think. Do you agree with Ana Navarro? Do you disagree with Ana? Let me know, guys. Supporters of Trump, they're seeing Homan's appointment as a long overdue response to years of rising concerns over immigration enforcement. Homan, known for his law and order approach, aims to address a border crisis that has spiraled out of control under the Biden administration. Trump wrote on Truth Social, I'm pleased to announce the former ICE director and stalwart on border control, Tom Homan, will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders. The borders are including not limited to the southern border. But here's the thing, not limited to the southern border, the northern border, all maritime and aviation security. But here's the thing, guys. Ana Navarro seems to have overlooked the fact that a significant, overwhelming amount of Hispanic voters actually voted for Donald Trump. So they understand this, but they're still in support of Trump, clearly. And if you look at the fact that Donald Trump won Arizona, also, again, a border state, Americans and, Hispanics are supporting Donald Trump's policy. At least that's the way it seems to me. And they're looking to deport people who are here illegally. So I feel like Ana Navarro is trying her best to install this fear across the board that anyone and everyone is going to be deported. She mentioned abuelas, grandmothers, and, family members. It's like, come on. If you're here legally, I don't see that there's anything to worry about personally. That's just my take on it. Let me know what y'all think. And then, of course, there's a Kamala Harris staffer that's calling on Joe Biden to resign in order for Kamala Harris to be able to be president for a few weeks. It's kind of crazy. Can you imagine Joe Biden losing his job just to allow Kamala Harris to play, kind of like playing, like Halloween? We just play dress up and let's just be president of the United States for the last couple of months and weeks. But this is actually being suggested here. Take a listen.
We're now 71 days from Trump taking the oath of office. What is the most important thing that everybody is looking for? That is my question. I'll start with you.
Joe Biden has been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat. And it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats.
Okay, this is not.
Wow, like is this what is it? What is it with Democrats and their need for attention, like to stir up drama? Like, what is it with that, guys? Now, here's the other thing. So, Joe Biden would literally have to lose his job. They've already stolen his attempt to campaign for to run for re-election. They've already, the coup has already played its course, and they've already stolen that opportunity for Joe Biden. Which, by the way, Joe Biden won the nomination. Kamala Harris didn't get a single vote for the nomination, okay? So not only have they stolen Joe Biden's attempt to re-elect him or run for re-election for the presidential campaign, but now they're trying to basically force Joe out prematurely. Can you believe this, guys? They're now trying to get Joe Biden to resign, effectively make this guy lose his job so that Kamala Harris can be the first black woman president of the United States. And I think that there's a lot of pushback on this. And this guy is dead serious. You guys see this guy's facial expression, right? You hear his demeanor and his tone. He's dead serious about this request to get Joe Biden to step down. And they also want to bring Liz Cheney into the building. They want to bring Liz Cheney in. The argument here is that they want to make sure that they want to pave the way and make it so it's easier for a woman to become president in the future, at least from the Democratic Party. I think that this is the silliest idea I've ever heard personally. Please, guys, what do you guys think about this? Is this even legal? Is this I feel like they're throwing the Constitution in the trash. This is why we need Donald Trump in office, guys. But let's hear more from this guy here, this Kamala Harris staffer.
Point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats.
Okay, this has now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now in the season of House of Cards.
This is wild, guys, and he's dead serious. I mean, you've heard CNN's Dana Bash. I mean, like, he is dead serious about this. She said, so Dana Bash says that he's jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show. Dana Bash, ladies and gentlemen.
My voice, yes, was ignored, but tens of millions of Americans' voices were ignored. I encourage my colleagues, Democrats particularly, to get out into rural America and sit with people, listen to them, have a cup of coffee, and understand they're not racist, they're not bigots, they're not anti-Semites.
It's not just about the campaign, it's about what does the Democratic Party stand for.
The reason we didn't win ultimately is we didn't listen enough to people on the ground.
So some of the Democrats' harshest critics are fellow Democrats, reflecting on the millions of Americans turning away from the party as they grapple with their election defeat. Rich Edson's tracking all that. He's live in Washington, D.C. There was a lot to say on Sunday, and they said it, Rich.
Yeah, they did, Bill. Democrats say they know there's a problem. They're just all over the map on how to fix it. Some say the party needs a much different approach.
Hills to overcome. The fact that her campaign started, in the middle of the summer, obviously it would have been better had that not been the case. Now, we can't go back and change history. We can't go back and change President Biden's mind as to whether he should have launched a re-election effort.
Wow. So now it's Joe Biden's fault. It's Joe Biden's fault that Kamala Harris lost the election. Joe Biden should have given Kamala Harris a longer runway to campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me know. Is it Joe Biden's fault? Do you guys agree with this logic?
Speaker Nancy Pelosi told the New York Times she thought there'd be an open primary to replace Biden, and had he stepped aside sooner, there may have been other candidates. Pelosi also clapped back at Senator Bernie Sanders, telling the Times she doesn't respect Sanders saying that the Democratic Party has abandoned working-class families. Sanders wants a more progressive party. He says it should come as no surprise that a Democratic Party that abandoned the working class found the working class abandoned them.
Wow. So The blame game continues, ladies and gentlemen. This is an ongoing saga. Are you guys starting to see the pattern here? Well, guys, the great wealth transfer is in full effect. And, you know, whether it's Donald Trump that ends up winning the election or if it's Kamala Harris, oh God, we're in a world of a pickle, as my grandfather would say. Our freedoms are being stolen, guys. Credit card companies are out to get us. And if you don't understand the game, well, you end up getting played by the game. Now, if you're anything like me, guys, you know, you were probably out of shape, maybe in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and just feeling like the system is just completely taking advantage of you. I remember for a long time, I could rarely ever get any time to spend with my wife. And it's kind of funny because where I used to work with a lot of married men. And a lot of those married men would always complain about their spouses as if they really just didn't even like their spouses, which is sounding like a pretty horrible situation. But that was the case for many of them. They didn't like who they were married to. But I was different. Anyway, through trial and error and through a lot of pain, I figured out how to gain freedom and also lose a lot of weight and actually get in shape. And guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, that was a game changer. To no longer be living paycheck to paycheck, figuring out how to get the credit cards to pay me, the power of a strong credit score. I pay thousands of dollars less per year for the same house as my neighbor just because my credit is better than his is. And this is not to brag. I mean, but this is the truth. The banks are literally taking advantage of the poor. It's like the people who can least afford it, they're charging the poor what is like unofficially called a poor tax or a tax on the poor. I mean, I'm now at a point where, you know, like, number one, I don't pay for credit cards. In fact, credit card companies pay me to use their cards. And I figured out how to build a lifestyle that is just ultimately very, very healthy. I lost a tremendous amount of weight and I put on a lot of muscle. But when I was struggling, I wish I knew people who knew these things. So anyway, I decided to create a community of like-minded people who are also interested, just like me, in living better. So if you guys want to join my community, it's called the Liberty Pursuit Network. It is brand new. Come on over. I'd love to have you guys and join like-minded people. Be positively motivated by others who are also on the same pursuit. So I'm going to leave a link for you guys so you can join me over on the Life Pursuit Network in the description down below this video. So check it out, guys, and let's not be a victim of this great wealth transfer that is taking place right now.